that. Okay, سبحانك اللهم بسم الله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. So like I mentioned, we are starting حروف العطف today, connecting words, or in English there's a fancy term, conjunction or things like that. We can just use connectors, no problem. So I was just showing you where this topic is in Bayina. So page 144 of the PDF, you have a small topic called حروف العطف, and he just mentions a few things and a couple of ayat that shows you that. And so you can see it's a very short topic, and then you enter into sarf. So it's the last bit in Nahu. And now we can begin. Okay. There we go. So this is حروف عطف. Now remember, last week when you did badal, we said badal is one of the four tawabi'. Okay, one of the four tawabi'. And we mentioned sifa, which we already covered a long time ago. Then we did badal yesterday. And now today, inshallah, we'll do atuf, which is the third one. And then hopefully next week, when we finish this topic, we will do tawkid. And then we would have finished the topic of tawabi'. So I felt like adding this too, because it completes the topic of tawabi'. Tawkid is not really mentioned in the Bayna. The only reason I added it there is because of like completing that whole idea of tawabi', followers. Okay. So this is what we have. Huruf ataf, connectors. That's what I'm calling it. Or conjunctions. You can call it that as well, grammatically. So there are three parts to this structure. Okay. There are three parts to this structure. So there's the ma'tuf, the connected, the first part. Then you have the harf ataf that comes between the ma'tuf and the ma'tuf alayh. So ma'tuf is the first part. Then the harf ataf comes in between, and then you have the ma'tuf alayh, the thing connected with. Sorry, no, the ma'tuf is the thing that comes after. So ma'tuf alayh is the first part. Then you have harf ataf. So this is basically essentially in order. When you look at a sentence in order, this will be the number one, this is number two, and this is number three. Okay, in order. So ma'tuf alayh comes first, then harf ataf, then ma'tuf. Okay. Now what happens is that this comes between like words, two like words. They have to be similar. For example, you can say a ball and a banana. They're both isms. I can say a ball and a banana. Basically, you can make banana ma'tuf to a ball because they're both ism. Or I can do ma'tuf with ism, with fi'ls. I can say he went, then he slept. So I'm connecting, you can see I'm connecting to fi'ls. He went, then, which is the connecting word. You see a color coded there for you. Then he slept, ma'tuf. So ma'tuf alayh is blue. Then you have green is the harf ataf, and then yellow is the ma'tuf. Okay. You can also say they studied, so they passed their exams. So both fi'ls works. But you can never have a ball, then he went. You can never say an ism and a fi'l. You cannot connect an ism to a fi'l. You cannot say a ball, then he went. It doesn't make sense. Somebody will ask you, what are you saying? Are you okay? A ball, then he went. What? What does that even mean? Or he slept and a banana. What? What is he slept and a banana? It doesn't make sense, right? Or they studied, so an apple. What? So you can actually hear that even in English, it doesn't make sense. So the same thing in Arabic, you cannot connect unsimilar words. You connect something that is similar to another. An ism to an ism, a fi'al to a fi'al, like that. All right? So now let's look at the huruf ataf and the summary of it all. It's a very simple, brief topic. I'm not going to go into so much details. So this is a table that will help you understand all the huruf ataf. So on the extreme here, on the extreme side here, we have the harf. And then, of course, what it means and what ruling it possesses and an example of that ruling. So we'll go into details in each one of them, and you will hopefully get a clearer picture. Now, harf ataf, wow. Wow is mostly the most common harf ataf because it connects and it means and it connects a lot of things. Okay, so I went and I slept and I did this and I did that. So you can see how it's very common. Okay, So what it is used for? It's used for connecting. That's its purpose. Connecting this and that. Joining two things together or bringing two things together. تجمع المعطوف والمعطوف عليه. That's its main purpose. For example, we're saying here جاء أحمد وخالد. جاء أحمد وخالد. Okay, and the ruling is that, of course, whatever we learned this before, we understand that whatever is ma'tuf is going to be, is going to have the same status as the ma'tuf alayh. Okay, so it's going to match. That's why it's Ahmadu, and that's why it's Khalidun in this case, because it's fully flexible. Okay, so that is an example of harf atf. Okay, so you can see isim and isim. We've connected. And now in that case, this whole bucket becomes the fa'il. The fa'il of ja'a. Okay, so that's wow, harf atf. Then we have aw. Aw is also a harf atf. When you see aw, that's also connecting one part to another part. How is it used? And it actually means or. So this or that. What is it used for? It is used for choosing, tufidu takhir. So khiyar is choice. So it is used for choosing something over something else, or for doubt, for some shak. Maybe you have a doubt in your mind. You're not so sure. Do I pick this or do I pick that? Or is this good or is that bad? So it's used in that sense. For example, you go to a library or you go to a bookshop, and then the storekeeper tells you, خذ هذا الكتاب أو ذلك الكتاب. Take this book or that book. Yeah, basically choose one. This is good, that is good. Pick one. Choice, right? Or you ask somebody, you've gone maybe shopping with your mom and you don't know what the beautiful dress is, and you say, ما أجمل? Which one is beautiful? هذا أو ذلك? This or that? See, that's how it's used. I'm not sure which one is beautiful, so I'm asking for an opinion. So I'm expressing some doubt. Okay, so that's harf atf aw. Again, very simple, very basic concepts that we are familiar with. Then we have thumma. Thumma, it means and then. It's longer duration than fa. So way later, after some long time. That's basically. And then after, something like that. That is what thumma means. And it is used for order and sequence. So there's a certain order that is being followed. And basically sequence means it's following one after the other, immediately one after the other, for immediacy as well. So that's what thumma is used. It's used for order, like a sequence, 1, 2, 3, 4. And basically the thing is coming after this one. Okay, it's following the previous thing. For example, if we say بدأت القراءة ثم الكتابة. I started reading, then after some time I started writing. So I started with reading, and of course reading is something that takes time. Maybe somebody is learning how to read, so after some time you spent reading and learning how to read, then you started to learn how to write, or something like that. So بدأت القراءة, I started writing, then I started reading, then after some time I started writing. So this kitaba followed. It did not come before, it came after al-qira'ah. That's what we mean by, a tarahi, or a tartib, actually coming, even a tarahi, like way later, it came after that. That's what we mean by thumma. I think Ustad has explained the difference between thumma and fa quite a bit. Like thumma is way later and fa is immediately. So that would be the difference between thumma and fa. But otherwise, they kind of like serve the same purpose. The only difference is that thumma is way later, but fa is immediately. And you can see it has the same meaning. And then, so we come to fa. Fa can mean and then, or it can also mean so. We know this. We've said it a million times. Ustad kept saying it. Fa, 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 it means so, so that's embedded in our DNA. We understand that. And what is it used for? It's also again used, same like thumma. It's used for sequency, but the difference is that it's used for immediacy. Immediately after that, something happened. So this is as a result of something coming before it. Immediately after something happened, something else happened. So for example, we have جاء خالد فعلي فطارق. So this is telling you the order, the sequence. of who came after what, like how it happened. It's telling you, and it was almost immediately, like Khalid entered, then Ali entered, then Tariq entered. Yeah, that's basically telling you how it happened almost immediately. Like Khalid followed by Ali, followed by Tariq, immediately in that order. Okay, so that's how it, what that means. Okay, then you have bal. Now maybe you're not so familiar with bal, but bal is called harf idrab. I think we've come across this word in one of the assignments if you're up to date. So basically what idrab means is that you're affirming what came after, and you're negating what came before. That's what idrab means. You're affirming what comes after, and you're negating what comes before. So it translates as rather. I think let's look at an example for us to be able to understand this. So the example we have here is لم آكل لحما بل بيضا. I did not eat meat, rather an egg. Rather an egg. So I am saying that no, I did not eat meat. So I am negating what came before, and I am affirming what came after. So I'm saying no to what came before, and I'm saying yes to what I'm saying after the bal. So you can see bal is in the middle. So no to what comes before, and yes to what comes after. That is idrab. That is the concept of idrab. That is what bal actually does. And it's always going to come in a negative sentence in this case. So lam akul lahman bal baydan. I did not eat meat, rather an egg. I did not do this, rather this. So you can see how that comes. Any questions there? I think we're halfway, almost done. Okay, good. So that's bal. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Then we have lakin. Lakin is also harf atf. Okay, and it means however, or in this case, when it is used as harf atf, I find it better to translate it as instead, because it gives the meaning better as opposed to however. However, when we're using in the sentence, like we're connecting this to that, but as a harf atf, if you put the word instead and it makes sense, then that's harf atf. Okay, so here it is used for correction, like I'm correcting the narrative. I'm saying whatever comes before is not basically, and it's actually called harful istidrak. This is the word for it, harful istidrak. You will come across this in translation, and that's why I'm giving you these words. Okay, so let's look at an example. ما أكلت عنبا لكن تفاحا. So it kind of works like bal, but it's actually correcting what came before. Okay, so I did not eat a grape, or grapes in this case because this is plural. I did not eat grapes, but apples. I did not eat grapes, but apples. Or instead, apples. Instead, apples. So you can see how, but if you say however, I did not eat grapes, however, apples, it doesn't really bring the meaning in English very nicely. So I prefer to use instead. So I did not eat grapes, instead, apples. Okay, so that's how lakin can be used. And one important thing is most of these words, whatever comes after, it has to be isim mufrad. It has to be a single word. It cannot be a sentence, in other words. So if you see a sentence after this, lakin is not going to be harf atf. Okay, it's going to be something else. Maybe it's going to be harf al-istidrak, but not harf atf. Okay, so that's important. And that's why you see in my examples, it's only one word. So you can see it's only one word after it. There's no sentence. I'm not putting any sentence. Yeah, so that's important to note. And again, it also has to be a negative sentence. It has to be negation. Then you have la. This is something you've never come across. La as a harf atf. Well, it's there. You can use la, which means not, as a harf atf. And what does it do? Basically, تفيد الإثبات المعطوف عليه ونفي المعطوف. So it is used to affirm the معطوف عليه, this one, and negate. So this is the opposite. Remember, with the idrab, we are negating what comes before and affirming what comes after. With this one, you're affirming what comes after, and you're negating what comes before. So that's the difference. La is kind of like an opposite. How do we see? Let's look at an example. يفوز الشجاع يفوز الشجاع للجبان. Or الجبان. I think الجبان. So الشجاع is a brave person. So the brave wins, not the coward. The coward, not the coward. The brave person wins, not the coward. So you can see how that works. So I'm saying that this is the, whatever comes after la is the negation part. Whatever comes before is the affirmation part, is where we are saying yes to. So the before part is yes, the after part is no. It's exactly opposite, like opposite to bal, how bal works. Then you have it's another word for or. We saw aw as a word for or, aw. Now we have as another word for or, okay? And this one is used to specify one of two things. So it's specifying one, either you're giving priority to one thing or you're making them equal. You're making them equal. So for example, أتقوم أم تجلس? Are you going to stand or are you going to sit? Like I'm equating two things. I'm equating between standing and sitting. So which one are you going to pick? Again, it's just mostly about choice, but I'm equating two things. Or I could make a preference and prefer sitting over standing. So in this case, maybe I want to prefer sitting. So I see you standing, then I ask you, أتقوم أم تجلس? Would you prefer to continue standing or would you rather sit? So I'm preferring sitting over standing. So that's kind of like how would be used in that sense. Hope that's clear. And lastly, again, this is probably something you've never come across, حتى as a حرف عطف. Okay, so حتى, you would probably see this in books تفيد الغاية. So it is used to signify the extent of something or the end of something. To understand this, let's just look at an example, what this means. So for example, if I said سهرت الليلة حتى الفجر, I spent the night, I stayed up all the night until al-fajr, or even the morning part. Like I spent the whole night and until, or even, so sometimes it can be translated as even, including the morning part. So up until the morning part, I spent this whole time awake. So you see, it shows the extent to how much I stayed up all night, or it shows all the way to the end of what I did something. So that's an important distinction to know, because there are so many different kinds of hatta. We know hatta when we were doing anlan likay idan hatta, yeah, and then we know hatta as harf jar, yeah. So we know hatta has different roles, but here as a harf atuf, and you can see it actually copies. It's not harf jar here, and it is not anlan likay idan hatta. It's not harf nasib, yeah, because you can see it is basically connecting Layla and al-fajr, and that's why al-fajr is mansub, just like Layla. Okay, so it's only going to be isim mufrad. It's only going to be a single word at the end. You're not going to have a sentence. If you have a sentence, it's a different kind of hatta. So just keep that in mind when it comes to this huruf atifa. Yeah. So that's an important thing, and that's basically the wrap. That's all the huruf al-atuf that we have. Any questions on that before we look at some examples in the Quran? I think it's pretty much clear.
Istidrak?
Yes.
Istidrak?
Istidrak, yes. لكن.
Okay.
Yeah. So this one is called harf al-istidrak. So you're correcting something that was said before. Any other questions?
Like apart from being harf of ataf, these words also serve other purposes.
Yes. Yes, they do. Yeah. Most of them, like wow is always going to be harf ataf.
And istinafi?
But also it's going to be harf jar, right? So wal asri. In that sense, it's not harf ataf. You also have waw isti'nafiya. It's still it's wow that begins a new sentence. So that's a different kind of wow. So you see, in as much when it comes as a harf atuf, it performs a specific job to connect one thing to another. That's the job that it's trying to do. But in other contexts, it could be doing something else. Yeah, like fa. Also, we know there's fa that begins a sentence. So, as you put it, lakin, we have lakinna, we have lakin. Yeah. So this also performs other jobs. La, we know la is la nafiya. Yeah. So la also does other things. That's important to know. Yes, Saima, you have another question?
Yeah, can you please also explain the things which you have written in Arabic? Tafidu, Ta'id, and Mahadiyya, all that.
Yeah, so basically whatever I've written here in Arabic, I've translated it down here. It's the same thing.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's basically the ruling that I was explaining. So for example, wow, تجمع المعطوف والمعطوف عليه. So it is used for connecting the معطوف to the معطوف عليه. That's the main purpose of wow عاطفة. Okay, wow as a connector is just for connecting. It doesn't have a specific role or specific ruling. It's just to connect, like the example we saw. And aw is for choice, and a shak is doubt. So it's either for choosing, used for choosing something, one or the other, or for doubt. Yeah. And then thumma is tufidu tartib, which is like order, following a specific order, not jumbled up order. It's a specific order. And a tarahi, we said a tarahi is way later, like something that comes after the first thing, but slightly later. Okay. So that's what thumma is used. And then you have fa is a tartib, again another order. So you see here it's the same thing. So order. What ta'qib is immediately after. Okay. Yeah, immediately after. And tawali is succession, like one after this, succeeding it, like immediately after it. So how you understand tawali is that if Khalid did not come, Ali could not come. So Khalid had to come for Ali to come, for Tariq to come. So that's a tawali, basically succession, one after the other, after the other, after the other, like that. So that's what it just basically means. And then of course we explained bal, ithbat ma ba'daha, so it affirms what comes after, and it wanafiyun ma qablaha, and it negates what comes before. So what comes before, we are negating. What comes after the bal, we are accepting, as we are saying yes to. Okay. And then of course al-istidrak, we said istidrak basically is to correct the narrative. Like you said something, but you realize that's not the truth, that's not the reality, so you're correcting that. Or you're like, oh, instead it was apples, so you're correcting that statement that you made. And then la tufidu ithbat al-ma'tuf alayh. So this is the opposite of al-idrab. So this one, you are affirming the ma'tuf alayhi, and you are negating the ma'tuf. So you're saying yes to what comes before, and you're saying no to what comes after it. Again, of course, so basically it's like a kind of negation. So lal jabanu, I'm saying not a coward. So I'm negating the coward bit. And then of course, a ta'yin is to specify one thing over another. So a ta'yin ahad al-shay'ain is to give priority, or to specify, or to specify one thing over the other. And tasawi baynahuma, to equate them, make them equal. Then of course hatta, we said tufidu al-ghaya. Al-ghaya is extreme. Al-ghaya, the literal meaning of al-ghaya means extreme. So basically it indicates the extent of something, or the end, the utmost end of something. Ay al-intiha. Al-intiha means the end. That's basically it. Saima, you have another question?
Yes. The difference between istidrak and idrak, in both the cases, the first thing is wrong and the second thing is the correct thing.
Yeah.
So if it comes in an example somehow, then how we are going to identify which is like idrak or it is istidrak?
I think I'm not so 100% sure the difference what it is, but there are certain words that are known as adatul, basically like huruf al-idrab. Like, but lakin is always known as al-istidrak. So when you see lakin, is always going to be istidrak. When you see bal, it's always going to be idrab. So I think that's how they know it. But I think I will research further to see the difference between these two. I'm not so 100% sure what the difference is. All I know is that lakin is always considered istidrak, and bal is always considered idrab. And with istidrak is more like you're correcting something. Like whatever was said before is wrong, so you're trying to correct it. But this one, you're not really correcting it. You're telling somebody this did not happen. This is what happened. I don't know if that makes sense or I'm just confusing you more. It's very similar. It's very close. So it can easily yeah. I will try and figure out if there's a clearer way to distinguish between the two. Yeah. Any other questions?
In framing the Arab, we have to do this as matuf alay, matuf, and the whole will become a part of that. Sister, it will be in that way.
Sorry?
Like ashujawu lal jubanu. So this two will become the file for yafuzu. So we need to say that matuf alay and matuf.
Yes. You will say
This
just like
total
that.
will
You
be
said, yeah, same thing. You say this is the ma'tuf alayh, this is harf ataf, and this is ma'tuf.
matuf. So total in all the jumlas, it will be the same.
Same.
All are considered as atf and matuf alay, matuf.
Yes. Yeah. Any other questions before we look at some examples in the Quran? Okay, let's look at some examples in the Quran. If you want to participate, please raise your hand and then we can proceed. Okay, so we have Seima and we have Sultana. So, Seima, you can do the first one.
Bismillah. So فأنجيناه ومن معه في الفلك المشحون. So wow is the harf of ataf here. And matuf ilay is فأنجيناه. Who was the basically, and when ma'ahu
actually, yeah,
is
it's
the
just
matuf.
Beautiful. Yeah, so you see it's pretty easy exercise, not really much going on.
Actually, harf of ataf, I think something should come, it should not be starting at the start of the sentence.
Yes,
right?
that's the thing. Yeah, because it has to connect one thing to another. So you cannot connect. Yeah, if there's nothing before, then you cannot connect. Unless, like, you know, in the Quran, sometimes a sentence could end after like 3-4 different ayat. So just because the ayah ended doesn't mean the sentence ended. So you could have an ayah connecting to the previous ayah. So that can happen. So it's important to also know, just because the waw starts an ayah doesn't mean that it's not harf ataf. It can be. It's because that maybe the sentence is not over. Yeah. So it's important to remember that. But here we will ignore this waw. Okay. We will ignore this one, and because I don't know what came before it, so I can't really say. So we'll ignore this one. Dr. Sultana, you can do this one.
Wallahu khalaqakum min turabin thumma min nutfatin. So thumma is harf atf. Min turabin is matuf alay. Min nutfatin is matuf. Yes,
beautiful. So you can actually see, like, remember I said it connects like to like. So min turabin, you can actually see is just like
status
and like.
should match.
Yes. Yeah, beautiful. Okay, Saima.
قل هل يستوي الأعمى والبصير أم هل تستوي الظلمات. So we have wow first harf of ataf.
Yes.
So matuf ilay is ama. And matuf is al basir. Then second is هل تستوي أعمى والبصير أم هل So this whole thing, yes, هل I mean يستوي أعمى والبصير till here is the معطوف إليه.
Yes, I'm going to underline that instead. Make
And
it
then
clear.
هل تستوي الظلمات والنور.
Nuru. Yes. Yeah, so you
And
can
then
actually see, like it's actually repeating and it's giving you a clear picture. Like hal and then hal. So you see now this hal is ma'tuf to this hal. Yeah.
And then this wow.
Oh yeah, one nur. Yes, again another one. True.
Zulumat
was a-
is the Matuf ilay and one Nuru is the Matuf.
Yes. Beautiful. Okay.
قالوا
Sultana?
yeah قالوا لبثنا يوما أو بعد يوم أو is حرف عطف يوما is معطوف عليه بعد يوم is معطوف.
Yeah, and you can see both are nasab. So يوما and then بعد يوم
بعد يوم
is also nasab. Yeah. So it matches. Seema?
ولا تقولوا لمن يقتل في سبيل الله أموات بل أحياء ولكن لا تشعرون. So بل is the حرف فتح.
Yes.
And hold this thing أموات is the معطوف إليه. And أحياء is the معطوف.
Yes.
And then kin ولكن. Sorry, this lack.
Yes, go on.
Wow also.
Yes. Yeah, we can see wow is harf atf here, yes. We can look at it that way. So basically wow is connecting this first part to this second part. But is lakin here harf atf or not? That's the best
No,
question.
I think so.
What do you guys think?
I think so. It
What is
isn't,
coming
sister?
after it? It is?
لا تشعرون.
Yeah, I think.
What did I say about what comes after harf atf?
The correct
مفرد.
Mufrad. Somebody was listening. It has to be ism mufrad. Cannot be a sentence. What is la tash'arun?
So, but in above case, hal yes.
No, with this one, it's with, okay, so maybe I should make that clearer. So from where? From bal, lakin, la, is different. So, and hatta, la, and lakin. This one's, it has to be ism mufrad. Yeah? It has to be ism mufrad. Even bal has to be ism mufrad. Okay? So bal, lakin, la, and hatta. But these other ones, they can be sentences, no problem. Because we know harf atf, especially wow, we've seen how it can connect sentences. Yeah? But bal, lakin, la, hatta, it has to be ism mufrad. Otherwise, it will serve a different purpose. It would be something else. Like in this case, it's not harf atf, it's just harful istidrak. That's what, if you look at tafsir, that's what they will just call it. And you will also see something like غير عاملة, like it doesn't have any role. You know, like lakinna makes it's harf nasab, lakinna. But when you just have lakin, it's not making the isim nasab. So they will say it's غير عاملة. It doesn't have a job. Yeah. So probably you will come across something like that. I hope that's clearer. Sorry, I confused you guys there. Yeah? Question?
Yes. Yeah, like lakin was istidrak, right?
Yes.
So it can be ataf, it can be either, or it can be both of the thing at the same time, right?
No, it's either or.
Okay.
It performs the same job of istidrak, whether it's harf atuf or whether it's just in لكن غير عاملة, but it cannot be both. It cannot be حرف عطف and حرف الاستدراك غير عاملة at the same time.
غير
Like
عاملة.
it's when I say غير عاملة, it's like it doesn't have a job. Like it's not making the isim nasab. It's not doing any job of what comes after it. Because you know, okay, so the thing is with lakin, it's actually lakinna. That's where it came from. It came from lakinna. But then it's like, you know, when we talked about an and anna, we said an al mukhaffafa, something like that. So this one was also made light, sort of mukhaffaf. So sometimes when lakin comes, actually, yes, lakin comes, it doesn't have a job. It doesn't affect the isim. It doesn't make it nasib, or it doesn't affect what comes after it. So when I say غير عاملة, all I'm saying is that it doesn't have a job. It's not affecting what comes after it.
Means
So
it's
you
not
will see that. Yeah.
It's not having anything mess up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So you see that in Arab books, they would say لكن حرف الاستدراك غير عاملة da 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 da. Things like that. Maybe we can even look at an example, just to be sure. I'm not 100%, but I've come across that quite a bit. Okay.
Okay. Salamun hiya hatta matla'il fajri. So hatta is harfat.
Yes.
So hiya is matuf alayh. Matla'il fajri is matuf.
Yes. And this is considered as one word because it's مضاف مضاف إليه, the إضافة. And it also, you can actually see in the meaning, it means all the way up until the end. حتى مطلع الفجر, like up to the morning. Yeah. So it shows the end of something or the extent of something.
We cannot consider salamun because it is rafa. So even the Arab doesn't match there. So here we can see as mansoob. There should be some connecting jumla before this, sister, something?
I need to check this ayah. Wait, what? We're gonna have to check this. We'll come back to this ayah. We'll do the yeah, I'm not 100% sure here. Let's finish and then maybe we can look at the tafsir of this. Naima?
صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب is the معطوف إليه غير المغضوب عليهم.
What's the حرف عطف?
كيس حرف عطف. And again, it's like la do. Okay, with wow we can have the entire sentence, right?
Yes.
La dolly is the matis.
Yes. So here you see la as حرف عطف. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. So we said la can also be حرف عطف. This, we are affirming what comes before. We want this, not this. So we want أنعمت عليهم. We don't want غير المغضوب. We don't want المغضوب عليهم. We don't want الضالين. Yeah, so that's basically what is being said. Last one, Sultana.
الذي خلقك فسواك فأدك. So fa is harfat.
Yes.
And the second fa is also harfat.
Yes.
So ka is matuf.
So we can say the whole verb, the whole. Yes.
The whole.
خلقك.
Okay. خلقك is matuf alayh. Sawaka and adalaka is both matufs.
Yes, beautiful. So you can see these are verbs. خلق, سوى, عدا. So all these are verbs. So we are connecting verbs to verbs to verbs. Like that. Let me pull out this ayah and oops. Let me see if I use another browser. that. Let's look at the i'rab of this. Did they say حرف الغاية وجر أو, so in this case it's حرف جر مجرور بحتى والجر والمجرور متعلقان بسلام. Yeah, I had a feeling that I made a mistake here. So because مضاف مضاف إليه is not really اسم مفرد, because it's an إضافة. It's a fragment. It's not one word. Yeah, so as you can see, they're saying حتى is حرف غاية. It's حرف of the extent, like it shows extent and it shows extreme. وجر, and in this case it's حرف جر. So you can see the difference. Like here it's actually making مطلعي مجرور. Okay, so that's why it's مطلعي الفجر. So that's a mistake. I need to remove that from my exercises. Yeah.
So what will it form, sister, then?
Yeah.
What will this form in the jumla? متعلق بالخبر?
Yeah. So this will just be a متعلق.
To salamun. Huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what they're saying. So والجار والمجرور متعلقان بسلام. Yeah. So this, basically this whole إضافة here would be متعلق to سلام. سلام is the مبتدا. Here is a خبر, or you can look at here as ضمير الفصل. So, and then this will be the متعلق. Yeah, I made a mistake there. I had a feeling. I want us to look at maybe another lakin. Let me pull out the lakin example so that you can see how they write lakin, so that you're familiar with that. Let's see. Yeah, let's pick this first one. It's short and simple. You see what they will probably say about lakin. So لكن الواو عاطفة ولكن مخففة من الثقيلة للاستدراك. So you see what they're saying? They're saying لكن is مخففة, is made light from the heavy one, the heavy version, which is لكن. So لكن is the original form, and then you have لكن, and then it's what purpose does it have? It's للاستدراك, is for correcting. So you will see something like that. But let's look at an example of one of the example. Let me see the example I had in my notes for لكن. So لكن, did we have لكن as حرف عطف? I don't think it exists in the Quran as حرف عطف. So yeah, that's a tough one. I haven't seen it in the Quran as حرف عطف. If you find it, please let me know. Because you see most of the time it comes with a sentence after it. لكن لا يعلمون, لكن كانوا, this is a sentence. This is لكن, this is not لكن, this is لكن الشيطان. لكن لا تشعرون, again a sentence. لكن البر, so not لكن. So yeah, you can look for all the لكن, and it most of the time comes with a sentence. I'm yet to see it coming as حرف عطف in the Quran. I don't know that it does that. So that's something I wanted to show you guys. All right, that's basically the end of حروف عطف.
Like one that single word, it needs to be ism, or it can be a verb also, one single verb.
No, ism. Ism mufrad. It has to be an ism.
Mufrad. Okay.
Yes. Yeah, it has to be an ism.
Or in this one, walakin kanu.
Kanu is a verb. Kana yakunu kaunan. Yeah, it's called fi'al naqis. Is a verb that is limited, like it's lacking something. Yeah. So it's hard. I haven't come across any lacking being used as harf atf. Any other questions on that?
No, alhamdulillah.
Maybe we can let me just Google bal, because these are some of the rare ones that you don't really see. Let's see. بل لعنهم الله. Just to see how they say, what they will say about bal. So they say bal حرف عطف وإضراب. So you can see. Like they will actually tell you حرف عطف وإضافة, and then they will tell you what comes after, what comes before. Yeah, the others are straightforward. We can also look at غير المغضوب عليهم, what they say about لا ولا الضالين. So it's important for you, by the way, you guys, when I give you this ayah, just go to Tafsir app and see what they're actually saying. Just to clarify, sometimes I could make a mistake, like what I did with hatta. I don't know if I will try and find an example of hatta maybe and see if I can post it in the group. Where's Wala Talin? What did I pick? Illa Dalal. So you can see ولا واو حرف عطف لا صلة للتأكيد معنى النفي وهو ما في غير ما من معنى النفي. So you can say they're saying ضالين معطوف على المغضوب عليهم. So yeah. So this whole thing ولا basically I think I don't know what they're meaning here. صلة للتأكيد معنى النفي. So sometimes you can come across things that you don't really, yeah. But in any case, it's this whole combination is ataf, and then of course this is connecting to what came before that. Okay, I don't know if there are any other questions. If not, we can end there. Go back to right. Let's end there. Inshallah, next week we'll do ta'keed and tawkeed. And that will be the end of advanced Nahu, inshallah. Maybe take a short break, and then we'll come back with advanced Nahu. Advanced structures, sorry, inshallah. سبحانك اللهم بحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. السلام عليكم guys.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله. جزاك الله خير.
وإياكم جزاكم الله خير.